to play with him. Yeah, and I saw him on the left-hand side, and he likes to take those 1v1 situations. So was a good goal.
And for you, 15 goals now in 30 games. You had to adapt your role as well tonight. So first half, second half, obviously with Jesus going off second half.
Yeah, but I'm used to it.
7 for Arsenal means they move up to second in the Premier League standings, moving ahead of Chelsea and Nottingham Forest as well. Not a vintage performance, but really, as he said, 3 points are all that matters.
Yeah, it was. They weren't at their best tonight, Arsenal, but they found a way to get it done. Probably should have had more goals and made it a little bit more comfortable. But I never really felt that they were in any real danger, really. Ipswich maybe second half could have committed more men forward and really caused them a problem. They didn't. And in the end, you look back 1-0, and that's probably a fair result in reflection of the game.
I feel like Arsenal this season, Manu, have been like this in this game, where it's really hard work scoring. And then you have other matches like the Crystal Palace one, where everything they seem to
up
touch
and down
to...
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
That shows you how competitive is this league, you know. It's very hard to win games in the Premier League, so I'm not surprised about that. You see what Everton did against Manchester City, and we all know that Manchester City, at the moment, they are not really good, you know. But again, I was a little bit scared at the end of the game, the last 15 minutes, because I've seen Ipswich, you know, changing their mindset and trying. I think they thought they could do something at the end of the game to get a point from it. So when you don't kill the game, you have such big occasion to score and you don't do it, the opponent sometimes, you know, they believe and they come back into the game.
Yeah, it was 1-0 in the 23rd minute, and it stayed 1-0, as you mentioned, so close. But let's look at the goal that ultimately won this game for Arsenal. It starts with Martinelli, and it goes all the way to the other wing, where Trossard is waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great cross from Trossard there, putting it into the right area, and Kai Havertz finishes it well. But as I said, Arsenal at first were putting way too many of these crosses in, like deep. I mean, as I said, Ipswich Town, their 3 centre-halves are all 6'3+, so you were never going to score from a cross like that. But then when it does come out to Trossard here, he does really well. But Kai Havertz gets himself into that situation where he's between the full-back and the centre-back. Yeah. And then he gets himself in there, and it's a really nice finish, Manu.
It's a really nice finish, but I think it's poor defending, poor communication between the last 2 defenders on the far post. I think he's kind of lucky, you know, to get the ball, Kai Havertz, on this occasion.
And talk to me about the timing as well. He seems to wait just a little bit, stay on side, stay in the right position.
I love sometimes Kai Havertz, you know, in this position, because he forgets him. He's like a ghost sometimes for defenders, you know. He's not a typical striker, so sometimes his movements are great, you know, because of that. And this is exactly what happened on this occasion.
Even with that goal there as well, when you look at it from an Ipswich defensive position, there's too many lazy legs at it. No one really sets themselves in their body position to go and clear it. You've got Wolfenden, who just tries to swing his right foot at it. Jacob Greaves goes with his left foot to try to hook it away, which is never going to happen. If they'd have got themselves back into shape maybe a second quicker, they could have gone on and headed it. They could have headed it away and cleared the ball. But the fact that they almost get sucked in by the movement of Arsenal, they all wave their legs at it, is a poor defensive goal for Ipswich to concede. Yeah,
it must be even more frustrating considering they were so defensively set up. They had so many numbers back. They were so disciplined, as we'd been saying at half-time.
Yeah, they were, and again, it was going to have to take something special or a bit of creative spark from Arsenal to kind of break them down, because they had so many men behind the ball. But that was always the fear. The longer the game went on, if it had stayed at 0-0, you'd go, Ipswich, fantastic. They've done really well. They've made it so difficult. Arsenal might have started to panic a little bit and maybe force the issue. The fact that Arsenal then score in that period, it's almost like, can Ipswich kind of flip out of that defensive mindset and go on the offensive? And they couldn't do that. And as I said, Arsenal were comfortable-ish, but I never really felt that they were in any real danger.
Yeah, just one
I think in the first half, they used too many crosses, you know, Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think it was over the top sometimes, you know, and they try to cross all the time the ball, and they forget the way they used to play, you know, great movement, great passing, you know, in between lines.
Yeah, just the one goal in it, and we're going to look at some of the chances because Arsenal did have plenty.
Oh, this
one. Is this the Gabriel?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but Gabriel, he has been the master in that position. The fact that he misses the target from there, I was shocked. I was shocked as anyone.
I think everyone was, to be honest with you, even Martinelli's reaction. But this shows that they had opportunities.
They had. And as we said, Ipswich defended very well. The goalkeeper as well. Odegaard made a great run inside, you know, the penalty box. And he almost, you know, scored that goal. And as well, Declan Rice. I think it was unlucky, but again, great defending.
Yeah, was that O'Shea's block?
It was O'Shea's block, and that's a nice strike there from Moreno, to be fair. He's done quite well since he's come into the team. Just tries to kind of sell it out that far post, and he probably doesn't get enough on it. But it's a really good save there from Muric.
Yeah, towards the end, you said it was comfortable-ish, but towards the end, Manu was in full panic mode. Let's just
The last 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's look at the chance that Ipswich had pretty late on. Could have done something with it.
I was a little bit scared because they approached the last third of the pitch, and Arsenal were dropping, badly, defensively. And I thought, when you're leading the score only 1-0, everything can happen. And, you can slip on the floor, you can have a bad movement, something like that, bad communication, and all of a sudden you conceded a goal. So I was scared that probably on this strike that Mikel Arteta was touching the ball with his hand. So a little bit nervous, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is Arsenal's form in the last 8, unbeaten, 5th win in 7 for them tonight. And just looking at some of those results, beating West Ham, beating Manchester United. And as I was saying to you, actually, there's some games where they've not scored, like Everton, scored just 1 goal, like Fulham, like Chelsea as well. And then West Ham is 5, Crystal Palace is 5 goals.
I don't know how to explain that. It's a beauty of the Premier League. And sometimes you have the feeling that, especially at home, when Arsenal, are unbeaten, since a long time now. And
Well, you knew it was going to be hard, obviously, having gone a goal down, but then sort of forced your way back territorially in the second half. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, I think it was a difficult first 20 minutes. We got pinned in by a good side. They didn't have a lot of chances, but they had all the territory. We still need to defend the goal better because we had the bodies there to defend it. But after that, we grew into the game well. To be honest, we managed to turn a little bit of momentum before the first half, and then in the second half, we managed to make a much more even game, and we got to some really good positions, and we just didn't have the quality to go and turn really good positions into really good chances.
Yeah, a really good chance after 20 seconds.
Yeah, I've not seen that one back, but that was, we didn't have much in the first half, but in the second half, I said we got to good positions throughout the second half, and we just weren't quite able to turn it into a big chance.
Yeah, is that mentality as well? Is that a little bit maybe of almost trying too hard?
No, I don't think necessarily mentality. I think there was a few situations late in the game where we could have showed a little bit more belief to really go and take it on, to take the 1v1 on, to drive at them into the box, and we were just a little bit hesitant. So yeah, look, I think from where we were after 20 minutes in their stadium with, you know, a fresh Arsenal and a very good side, to where we had the game on 89 minutes, I think the players can take a lot of credit and a lot of confidence from that.
I was going to say, what does this give you potentially for the other games, maybe where you will be expected to get more from? And what does it give the players in confidence terms?
Yeah, I think it was important that we had a night that we were solid. To be honest, after, you know, our last game was the first one in a long time really that we got opened up in, so we needed to be solid tonight and feel that we can be compact as a team and work and defend together, which we've done many times this year, but we needed to feel that tonight. So we'll take confidence from that, and then again, I think the way that we turned the momentum in the second half and got the game to a good position for ourselves late in the game, to do that away at Arsenal with a situation of where they are and where we are, I think is something that we can take confidence from.
And Calvin Phillips, talking to him, he was very pleased to play and to get through the game. It's been hard for him. Can he be a key figure for you as you build this season and obviously intend to stay in the division?
Yeah, let's hope so. He's he had a good run of games in the earlier part of the season after arriving late, and then he's had his injury for a few weeks and sort of been building his way up. But I thought he'd done well tonight, and to be fair to Luke Wolfenden as well, players coming into the team who haven't played a lot lately, and they acquitted themselves really, really well.
Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you.
Talked about those chances late on for Ipswich, but what about in the very first minute of the first half and second half?
Exactly, yeah. Start of each half was a little bit sloppy from the Gunners, and they could have received a kick, you know, in the head. Because, you know, you can be surprised by the opponent, you know, the first minute of each half. So this is exactly what happened. But, hopefully for the Gunners, Ipswich didn't have the quality, you know, to hurt them.
They might catch some teams out with that. They've got some big games coming up, some tough ones as well, as every game is in the Premier League. Let's look at what's coming up for Ipswich. I know they face a couple of teams in the top half, including Chelsea, and that's coming up on Sunday. Another London match up against Fulham. There's Manchester City, Liverpool in there as well, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Manchester United. That's going all the way up to March with Crystal Palace. Difficult.
Headache.
Because they've got some tough games, but it's getting to the time now where we're getting past the Christmas period and you've got to just take what you can get now. You've got to be picking up points, and yes, the run's going to be difficult. Chelsea, Fulham's in there. But it was almost a welcome to the Premier League this season anyway. They played Liverpool and Manchester City their first two games. So they would have understood that going into this Premier League season after two games, they were probably going to have no points. But I think they've shown more than enough against the likes of City, Liverpool, they've played Aston Villa, Arsenal this evening, that they can get points in this league. As I said, I gave an example earlier about some of the games that they've dropped points in when they probably shouldn't have done. I think they've got more than enough, but they've got to keep believing. The fans have been fantastic. They'll stay with the team, but the players on the pitch as well, because Kieran will keep believing, the manager. The players have got to believe on that pitch that they can get something from every single one of those games. It will be difficult, but it's getting to that time they would have got to do that.
Yeah, no points for Ipswich tonight. All three of them stay in North London because Arsenal have won this encounter 1-0. It is their fifth win in 7 in the Premier League. Let's hear the thoughts of their manager now. Here's Mikel Arteta.
Mikel, was that closer than it should have been?
It was what it was, you know. It was in the first half especially super dominant. We generated some good chances, don't concede anything. Probably we should have scored another one. To be different, we started second half, obviously not great, giving the first ball away straight from the kickoff. And then, yeah, credit to them. They are really well organized, really well coached. It's hard to break them down. We had 2-3 big chances again in the second half. But when you don't score the second one in this league, you know, the last few minutes, they start to put people forward and start to be very direct, fullbacks really high. And it's the feeling more than anything, because they didn't have any chances, but the feeling that, yeah, anything can happen still, and we hate it.
Is there a bit of satisfaction that you got over the line today, whereas the Everton game that was quite similar, where you dominated and it finished 0-0, but today you got that win?
Yes, obviously, and scoring the goal obviously changes. They had a bit more aggressive behaviour and open up a lot of space in the second half. But yeah, and we saw the game. As soon as you have to defend your box, then we have to play in the final third and play that game just to allow the time and the time go. We did really well, so, you know, in this period, so hard to win. You see it with the other position. So another good step.
No Saka, we know he's going to be out for a while. How do you think the players stepped up? We know that Martinelli played on that side of the pitch, but you wanted everyone to sort of chip in.
Yeah, it's very good. It will be different. It was different. We had moments first half, better moments in the second half as well. Obviously, it's a unit that is new, and it will take sometimes as well for us to understand better each other. But Gavi, I think, did some very good things in the game.
Up to second, 6 points away from Liverpool. I know it's not where you want to be right now. You want to be top, but it's not a bad position to attack from in the second half of the season.
Well, considering all the circumstances that we had this season, the amount of time that we had to play with 10 men, all the injuries that we had to be in the position that we are in all competitions, I think it's good, but it's not what we want. We want to be first.
Top man, Happy New Year. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
So, Arsenal, are they the main challengers to Liverpool? Where are they at in this title race?
You'd have to say so. Obviously got experience the last couple of seasons pushing Manchester City close. You fully expected probably if Manchester City were to have a kind of blip that Arsenal would be the team that would probably take over, but it hasn't been the case. Liverpool have been fantastic and rightly so. Yeah. But they've got to just keep pushing. Again, I've spoken about belief on the show enough. Arsenal have got to keep believing. They've still loads of points to play for. Liverpool, at some point, you'd expect to have a blip, but Arsenal can't use that as an excuse. They've just got to keep winning their games, picking up points, and then hopefully they can push them all the way. Yeah,
just hearing him say that it's so difficult to win in this period. He'll remember what happened last year. Probably got a little bit of trauma from it. So he was saying he's just happy to be there at this point in time, considering everything that's happened to them this season.
Of course. You know, it's a long way to go, the Premier League. So we are just crossing, the Christmas time now. And we know how difficult it is in this period, the amount of games, tiredness of the players. So I'm very happy so far with his work since he came to Arsenal. And obviously, 6 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool has a game in hand against Everton, I think, if I remember well, a derby. So you never know, Look what happened to Manchester City. 7 weeks ago, they were first in the table. Yeah. Now they dropped 7. This is exactly what Arne Slot, said to his players before the game yesterday. Remember what happened. It happens very quickly in football. So believe in yourself. You never know what's going on.
Yeah, let's look at what's coming up for Arsenal. They play next on New Year's Day, and that's a late kick-off and a London derby at Brentford. And then a couple of difficult games. Every game is difficult, of course. The FA Cup game against Manchester United is one that stands out on the 12th of Jan. There's a midweek North London derby as well. And they also have Champions League to focus on. Yeah,
there's a lot of games, fixture pile up, but Arsenal, again, you look at those fixtures, yes, there's some good sides in there, but there's no one in there you'd probably say, yeah, Arsenal, they should beat Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal in this form, I know the Saka situation long-term may hurt Arsenal, but they've got to look at all those fixtures and feel like they can win absolutely every single one of them. Maybe they can sign players, during the transfer windows.
This is the big question, yeah.
It's very hard, as Guardiola said, to get top players at this moment, But you never know. There is some players available, actually, so outside, England. So maybe, why not?
Well, I think for them, the priority, certainly from all the analysis that's been done, has to be someone up front, a striker. Who would you get?
Someone up front, but I think quality players, because when I look at the squad at Liverpool, they look so strong, especially up front. They have so many talents, so many options, And the spine of the team has been playing for ages, all together. And they look so happy to play, the joy they bring on the pitch. I watched the game when they were conceding the first goal and they won the game 3-1. It was lovely to watch them, the joy they have, all together on the pitch and the link between the players. But as well, when you look at the squad, you look at the bench, for me, there is a difference with Arsenal, actually.
Yeah, Benty, is there a specific kind of centre-forward that they need, do you think?
Well, I think that's what's going to be the problem, is what centre-forward you get. Like everyone likes Isaac. He seems to be the natural fit. I can't see Newcastle getting him from they're not going to get him from Newcastle. So I think now all of a sudden you're looking around thinking who's going to be perfect. So you might have to go and find someone that's maybe a little bit more versatile, that can play centre-forward, can play left, can play right, just to add goals. But I think if you're quite narrow-minded and go, right, we want one centre-forward for this position, I mean, how many is there out there? And how many of those type of centre-forwards can you go and get realistically? Probably none of them. So that's where you have to be maybe a little bit more cuter in your scouting network, maybe have a look in different markets. But I don't think it's as simple as just going, Arsenal need a centre-forward and that's it. I just think they need more options in that top 3 positions at the top end of the pitch.
Well, I have a feeling this transfer window is going to be wild, and we cannot wait not too long before it all opens. That's Arsenal and Ipswich. Arsenal winning 1-0 tonight. We had another match that kicked off a little bit earlier